Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI Live Noding. In this episode, we're gonna do something that's pretty simple and easy but important concept in Blender. I will be using animation nodes to do this. Basically, the idea is to work with object that's linked into from one scene into another scene. Let's say you have like this empty scene at the moment, and then we want to bring in a new objects. And in Blender, you can either append from another, append the object from another scene, or you can also link it. Link is actually very powerful because you can, let's say you have another scene with assets, and then you want to bring in the assets, and whenever the artist make any changes to the assets, you can update. You can get the updates of the link objects very easily. Let's say, for example, I'll bring in this I have this Lego dude somewhere. I got it from the Blend Swap. I think it's by SR Brandon, and I already grouped the object. And then the way it works with Blender, I think you need to group the whole objects in one blend file, and then once it's grouped, you can simply link the objects into another scene. So once it's grouped, and you better name it, you can link from the library and you get this object. And this object is simply just a link object. It's an empty, and an empty that function as a dupli. It's a dupli group somewhere. I'll show you. There you go. It's linked into this guy from another blend file, and that's really powerful in Blender. You basically can make duplicates of the link objects, and yeah, it's basically the whole thing, and you can render it out very easily. It comes with all the materials. If you set the materials properly, let's say you make the materials so that the materials have different color whenever the object is placed at a different spot in 3D, you can do that as well. I'll try to do a quick render. And I want to do this together with a cycle. So even though this material is made in Blender for Blender render, it's gonna work in cycle, except that it doesn't have any texture. I can always go back to the original file and make changes. Anyway, I can delete these duplicates. I want to do the duplicates using animation nodes. So this is the Lego guy, and then this is just a quick cloning using animation nodes. Basically, we have this empty, and then animation nodes can actually do duplication very easily. So and it works for empty. So this is one node in animation nodes that's really powerful. It's called object instancer. All we need to do is just source this empty and turn on copy full object, turn on deep copy. I'll turn off always so it's a bit faster now. Okay, now we just need to do some instancing. I will not randomize the material for now. It's just all about just instancing. We can do it in many different ways, as you already know. And we need to do that simply by using loop. So we have this object being instance, and we can tap W and loop. So we're gonna loop this object and then place it on a line, for example. I'm gonna use the line mesh, just the vector for line, and we're just gonna create vector input for this guy. Vertices can go in there. That's the position of the line, the points on a line, and then this guy can go into the instance. So the instance knows how many points the line nodes is generating, and all we need to do is just object transform output and plug in our objects and then the location, and we should get a result. There you go. Okay, we are getting the Lego man, but it's in a place in the z-axis. We don't want that. We want it in the x-axis, for example, or the y-axis. There you go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because we specify 6 steps for the line. We can say 20 steps and just spread them like that, and it's really fast. You can have like 10,000 Lego characters. Should not be a problem because this guy is just like instance object. And okay, line is very cool. You can make it like you can make duplicates in the line like that. But it's more fun if you have it in a grid. So we're just gonna delete the line mesh and then switch to grid mesh node. And by default it's 5 by 5 with a distance of 1 unit. We can plug this into this guy and then this into that guy. Now we have 25 Lego character and we can spread them very easy. By default, Blender actually animation nodes, when it's doing instance character, it's creating this line because it's being parented. If we look at the outliner, we have this animation nodes object container and all our instance being generated underneath this empty, and that's useful for organization. But we don't want to see the line, so you can turn it off from here. Relationship lines, just turn it off from there, or you can also do it from this guy. Just tap U and hide relationship lines. Now we are good. So that's 25 Lego character. They are actually just instance objects, so they are really fast. If you actually go back to the original file, if I open the blend files, let's see where's the original. This one, SR Brandon Lego guy. So this is the original. The material is set for Blender render. It's not Cycles render material. But you can always change this, like for example the head, we can change the color, maybe change it to blue for some reason, save it, and we open our Lego guy clones and they all have blue face, which is a little bit strange, but they're updated based on the original blend. So I'm gonna go back to this guy and change it back to yellow. I think there's also, okay, I think this yellow is better like that. Okay, we can change this color, the red, into maybe pink or purple. Save it, we open the Lego clones and they're all updated. In another live noding, maybe the next one, I can teach you like one way to randomize the materials. For now, we just keep it like that. I think the material itself is not accessible from the instance. I need to do a little bit of research. There must be a way to kind of modify the materials, the instance objects material within the new scene. But anyhow, this is how you do it. If you want to randomize the rotation, you can do that using this Euler and just randomize the z-axis, for example. You don't want it to be all facing the same axis. Maybe you want to randomize it, so you can use like Euler wiggle Euler, I guess. Euler wiggle. Okay. So for each objects we can randomize using the seed, and we're not gonna use X and Y axis. We zero it out and just use the Z axis and plug this into that guy. Now we have like every character is kind of facing different directions, even though they're a bit random, but should be okay. You can kind of make them rotating like that. So that's pretty cool. If you want to make it a little bit nicer, give it a floor, maybe like this. Give it a material, and I don't know. You can have more. That's like 400. Actually, that's that's almost like 1000 character, make it 625 characters. They are all still pretty even, but you can also randomize the location a little bit if you like. Vector math, and this is the original position and this is the final position. You can randomize it using vector wiggle. Just plug this in and plug that in. We don't need to randomize it in Z. Let's randomize it in the X and Y just a little bit, 1.5. They're all now a little bit random, almost like a crowd system, even though there's a bit they're not doing anything. But imagine if you have a little bit of animation for the Lego characters, maybe just hands moving slightly. It's almost there like in the room and talking to each other. They are all having the same color, but still kind of okay for a start. We don't need to have ambient occlusion. Let's see, give it some environment lighting and maybe blue, and give it a light. Maybe I'll give it a light real quick. Lamp, sun direction, and give it a shadow. Ambient occlusion just a little bit. Ambient occlusion tend to make everything looks flat, so be careful with that. With the lighting, give it a warm color, and it's casting the shadow, and we can make the shadow a bit stronger if we make the size really small. So you can really pump the numbers, like you can have 10,000 easily, 10,000 Lego characters, and they will work properly. So now they're rendering. I guess I just turn off ambient occlusion. I don't like that. You can use HDR and environment lighting to get a better result. At this moment, the Lego character here doesn't have any texture. I need to convert it to cycles, perhaps, to make it to work. But if you have reflections and all that, this is gonna work really well, actually. So yeah, I think in the next live noding, I will try to randomize the color of Lego character and perhaps updates the texture and the material for cycles, so they look they're all showing the texture. But yeah, this is how one way you can create kind of a lot of instance using animation nodes very easily. This is because of Blender workflow. Like you can easily link objects from another blend file. I'll change this to a different color. What do you like? Green. I think green looks good. The pants, jeans. I guess that's okay. Save it. Lego clones. Now they're all updating. Sometimes they're intersecting, but I think that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there. Thanks again for this for tuning in to this live noding. If you have any question, feedbacks, and even like suggestion for me, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.